How? What a game. Absolutely an incredible game. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected United to lose the way they lost today against a very good Liverpool side. United lost 7-0 away to Liverpool. And there's so many aspects of this game, right? You look at you think maybe this, maybe that. But this type of result was always coming anyway. I think you have to admit the United have been in an absolutely fantastic run. They've done well. They have, in terms of climbing up at the table, where they are, in terms of the improvement, where you know Eric has taken them from the beginning of the season, especially the game against Brentford. You always remember that game to where they are now, winning the Carabao Cup. It's been a great journey so far, but I think United can't, But this result, you know what, it was. You could feel it was about to happen, but you just didn't expect the way it happened today. 7-0. I think some of the goal that United considered today could have been. I don't feel you could have been mistake, individual error. You could, listen. They've been in a fantastic run. They've been in fantastic run, and anybody that go to Anfield to play Liverpool, that's included Arsenal, that includes Man City, Chelsea, uh, Newcastle. You always gonna find Liverpool playing like this, playing out the skin and try to get a result. However, United and the Ten Hag, what I didn't like is during the game is you start to see some players. I knew it. I knew it. I knew that was coming. I knew my guy was coming. You know what? I didn't like. I saw some United players' body language. You know, the usual suspect, and for Eric to take Martinez after that, it just shows that what, they've been in a great one. They just get into the position where like this could be too much for them right now. And there's nothing wrong with. There's really nothing wrong with that. It's just that you happen to play against a very good team, who at home are very difficult to play against. And the fun, also United had a few chances. United were always very deadly in the counter attack. Second half, I think that first goal when he went in within about 2-3 minutes in the second half, that's when you hit goal. You're like, you start to think, well, where do we take this one from? Like you really start thinking at the moment. They think, well, where it's going, you know. I think he shouldn't start. I don't know with um the lad from the Brazilian lad. Like I wouldn't start him. I listen. I think he's a great footballer, but I don't think I prefer to start Jaden Sancho in that position. I think Jaden give you something different, but he keeps starting that guy. Listen, I understand that there's a mutual respect there, and they play for each other, blah blah blah. But he went with Anthony. Anthony for me, yeah, bruv. When Ajax saw that fax coming with the number they were offering them, you'd be like, wow, take him, bruv. Express fly, take him there. Because Anthony for me hasn't lived up to expectation. Like have not lived up to expectation. You know, for somebody who's Brazilian and he's a winger, you expect him when he comes to 1v1 to get after people and to absolutely show it off. I can't recall the last time I saw this guy and actually take somebody on and do something and do the ball. Everything is get it backward. It kept dragging it. I mean, like Eric Ten Hag must sit and have a conversation with him, thinking, my friend, like, what's going on here? You know, it just, I just feel like the, they've been on a great run, and this is what's happening. This was just about to happen, and you just have to take it into the pill and just move on with it, because there's no other way to look at it. There is no other any other way to look at how this results, because United, it's almost like everybody will say, including myself, I thought United had a very good chance to win the league. After this result, you know what? I will take third and then you see where we are, FA Cup and Europa League. Because if you win the Europa League and you win FA Cup and you finish third in the league, that is a successful season. There's no two ways about it. You win the Europa League, you win FA Cup, you finish third in the league, and you win the Carabao Cup. That is a very good season for Man United. Bear that in mind, from the first game you saw them away at Brentford to where they are now, there's a massive improvement. Massive improvement. But I tell you what, though, that Gakpo guy, ooh, Gakpo is very Gakpo, boy. Gakpo is problem. He's a problem. Gakpo is a problem. I see why 10 was wanted Gakpo, because the finish was just too slick. The finish was polished. Gakpo was giving people what Gakpo was supposed to give people. His movement in and around the box, he was very much you know, very much a proper striker. I'm gonna go through United starting 11. Yeah, I see the reason why. Luke Shaw, I can see why he played Luke Shaw and Alexander Martinez, because both the guys are on that same side of the pitch. I can see why, and they're also comfortable on the ball. Rafael Varane, I can see why as well. Diego Dalla, I know why he picked him over Wan-Bissaka, purely because Liverpool, they're gonna press you. As well as Wan-Bissaka has done so far this season, I see why I felt like at Anfield, it would have been too much for him. And it would have probably been the weakest link in terms of, if they get it, we'll put pressure on him. You can see why. Casemiro and Fred, yes. I was very surprised that he started Weghorst behind Marcus Rashford. Reason being, I felt like Marcus played better behind Weghorst. But one player that at United that I'm running very thin and very low into my belief towards him is Bruno. Bruno Fernandes is a good footballer. However, he does not give enough for the team. Bruno does what Bruno think is enough for him. But collectively, some of especially when United went 4-5-1, 4-0 down, his body language, is this, is that. You're like, my friend, we are losing. Understand. But if you're gonna wear the Man United captain armband, at least give me something. At least show that. And that side of his game, I feel like it will cost him long term at United. If you want to stay at United long term, that side of him shrugging off and doing this and that will cost him his future. Marcus was very quiet. I wouldn't say it was quiet. I feel like in front of the goal, Weghorst, it was like they were they was always in two mind. They couldn't, especially the first half. They've gone through 1v1. Again, in two mind. They just didn't polish it. United, they had a very good chance first half. They had quite a few chances, thinking if this would have gone in the back of the net, it'd been a different story. And this comes from playing at Anfield, especially playing against a big team, or big team in the sense that one of your rivalry or whatever you call it. Every single time you have opportunity to put it them or the back of the net, you have to do it. And it's just like it happened that United weren't clinical enough. United were ruthless enough, as United plays so many games. Because you also have to remember they've been playing every two to 3 days. Every 2 to 3 days, United have game. And coming to an Anfield, was that a bit too much for them? And I think this is also come where you have to look at the squad and say, you know what? If we're gonna compete at all front, our squad need to be bigger and better. In a sense that if we're gonna play a Saturday, we have a squad that's able of competing Saturday, and whoever comes in for the game on Sunday or on Thursday or Carabao or whatever, the squad is capable of dealing with that. And I just feel like that was a bit too much for United. As for Liverpool, listen, once Liverpool scored that first goal, you knew already Anfield are gonna get behind them. I mean, Liverpool, they're still. I think they can see why they struggle this season. There's so many gaps in there, especially with Konate and Virgil. Like, Liverpool used to be very, very difficult to break down and very difficult to play against. But because their defensive line are not as together as you expect them, they become so easy to get through. You know, Trent had a Trent had a decent game. I think we were much of a trouble to much of a trouble on the ball. That switch that they do from Trent to to Robinson, that's a massive weapon. It is a massive weapon to get the pitch for the ball from one side of the pitch to the other side of the pitch. Yeah, you take away about 4 or 5 people in one goal, and they used that quite a few times in the game today, and which means United were almost outnumbered in same position, and Liverpool got the joy out of it. You know, Liverpool midfield still not convinced. I'm not sure. I feel like Jurgen Klopp knows this summer that he need to clear out some bodies. He will need to press that restart button where a lot of things need to make sense, because Jordan and Fabinho and Harvey Elliott, those three will win your Premier League club. Those three will not win you any title. That's if even when they fit, those three will not win you titles, because first of all, that Jordan and Fabinho, they're all similar players, and they don't score enough goal in midfield from Liverpool. And you rely heavily on Gakpo, Mohamed Salah, and Darwin Nunes to score a goal for you. Whereas behind the supply chain, it's almost like break, get it, and move forward. There's not much of a creativity coming from the guys in midfield. Don't get me wrong, they do work hard, they do close down, they do all the nitty-gritty stuff for the game, great. But in terms of taking it to the next level, if Liverpool want to progress, I don't think that midfield is a solution for Liverpool for next season. And Gakpo, Mo Salah, Darwin Nunes. I feel like today Liverpool, everything that they touch went perfect for them. Some of the goal, you're like, everything that Liverpool touch, control, everything was just on a song, on the money. There's no way to do. There's no other way to look at it. And listen, they needed this kind of result, because I feel like over the past couple of weeks, Liverpool haven't really lived up to expectation, and Jurgen Klopp knows it. The fan knows it. That's why they kept behind the team. But today, it feels like just one of those days where they touch it, it goes in the back of the net. It touches it, goes in the back of the net. And 7-0, is that a flattering result? I think 7-0 is a very flattering result, on my personal opinion. See, I feel like that 7-0, if you look at it in the paper, it wasn't a 7-0 game. It was a game of one team who are desperate to gain confidence and to play more, and the other team coming into the game full of confidence, hoping that they will kick on and their momentum will carry them through and take to the next step. And that's what I saw in the game. Jurgen Klopp will be very pleased. I think Jurgen has the right to feel pleased. They needed this type of result just to get themselves together. Also, you have to understand, Arsenal would need to come to Anfield. I believe Man City will need to come to Anfield. I think Newcastle will need to come to Anfield. So could Anfield be the place where it decided title race? Could Anfield really be the place where, we'll see Man United Man City drop point, Arsenal drop point? Because if they can play like that and create chances, which they did. If you look there, let's say this. If you look at the stats of the game, right, which they did, you have to be honest here. If you look at the stats in the game, yeah, Man City, what is it? It was more of like Liverpool had 60% of the ball, Man United had 40% of the ball. Liverpool had 18 chances, 18 shot on target, 18 shot, 8 for Man United. 8 shot on target, 4 shot on target for Man United, 5 shot off target, 5 shot blocked. And Liverpool had more corners. So in reality, if you look at it, you think, okay, I see why they won that game. But performance-wise, was that say, is this the turning point for Liverpool? With 10 games to go, will Liverpool make this a good run to get into the Champions League and to improve for next season? It's crazy game. It's absolutely crazy game. You know, but li- uh, I mean, it's one of those things you're like, Rashford. I wouldn't say Rashford is a fraud. I think Rashford is a very good footballer. And I mean, over the past couple of weeks, they've played very well. They've played very well against very tough opponent, especially the West Ham game where you felt like United out and Bury. Somehow they come back and won the game. Um, you know, the Barcelona game, the Carabao game. I think they've been operating this super high thing. But right now it's just like, you know what? Just eat some humble pie and take what it is and move on from it. But it's a long season. That's what you have to say. It's a long season. Is that mean United out of the title race? That's the question, really. Is United really out of the title race? Nobody. I think my United fan will probably say they would have. There's certain games I feel like if Man United would have won, would have put them in a very good position in terms of title race. One of the game that came to my mind is the game against Crystal Palace away at Selhurst Park. I feel like if Man United would have won that game, would have pushed them in a very good position, very very good position. However, that just didn't come to fruition. Um, the game Nottingham Forest again. Those are the game where you feel like those draws Ten Hag must learn from it. Say, you know what, next season we need to turn those draw to win. You know, we need to turn those draw into absolutely a winnable game and move on from it. But it was a great advert for football. Absolutely great. Great to see. Oh, United 100% out of the title race. I think more. I think some of the United fan were just. It's almost like a wishful thinking that they could be there in the title race. Blah blah blah. Right, that just didn't come to fruition. Listen, but it's been if United win the FA Cup and they win the Europa League, I think that will be a great season. That for me, it's almost like more than you're bargaining for because no one expected United to be where they are this season. No one, because it's Rashford is a fraud. Casemiro can't compare to Thomas Partey. I mean, Casemiro didn't have his best game. I think Liverpool somehow find the intensity of pressing and put it play in the front four. I wouldn't argue with the starting 11 from Ten Hag in terms of the personnel he picked. I can understand why he picked who he picked for the game. I thought Liverpool coming to this game maybe jaded a little bit, maybe a lot of confidence, but I think once you get that first goal, it was a completely different story. Once you get that first goal, the game just flown by. United just, see Liverpool just gone stronger and stronger. And to consider the goal in earlier in the second half, again, that's a sucker punch. You didn't expect that to happen. So there is there's a lot to learn, but there's a lot of positive to take out of it. And I think Ten Hag, yes, you might be harsher. You can be harsher. You might look at it thinking, okay, I see, I understand. But in reality, is they've been beaten by one of their rival. They've been beaten by a Liverpool team who I wouldn't say wanted it more. They just capitalized on United mistake because every single goal in the game could have been defended and could have been avoided. But it's just that you know it just today as if you're really honest about it, it's just I feel like everything dropped in for Liverpool at the right place at the right time. Goals, Darren Nunes, it looks like completely different players. Trent looks great again, and it's almost like, well, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be like, what has happened to all of you since the beginning of the season? Why you feel to turn up now that obviously will play United that you've decided to play so well, and then next week if they play and they lose again or get a draw, I would have to ask yourself. You have to really ask Liverpool. Where does this come from then? because you can play United, play really well. Oh, here we go. This will be interesting. So they've got the next game is away to Madrid. The next game is away to Bournemouth, and there's Madrid, and there's Fulham. So Bournemouth, I think, depending which Bournemouth team turn up, they're also playing to stay in the Premier League. Madrid, you can forget about it. You can forget about Madrid. And you've got Fulham at home, then you've got Man City away, the 1st of April. You've got Chelsea, the 4th, a couple of days after. So can Liverpool finish in the 4th position? That's the real question now. Can Liverpool actually finish in the 4th position? Can Liverpool take it there and say, you know what, we deserve it to be here? Because I feel like time after time, that's the story of Liverpool. There's no consistency to it. There is no consistency to Liverpool's game. They'll play well this weekend against Man United. Next weekend, they don't give it that performance. If Liverpool go to Bournemouth and put that similar performance they did against Man United, they'll win the game. But at the same time, Bournemouth are very much of a wounded animal. After losing to Arsenal in the last minute, I will feel like they want to put up a very good show as well. So it's all depends how you look at it. You know, Man United right now is just like, you know what? We'll go back in the drawing board. Look at our next fixture. Real Betis on Thursday. Southampton at home. Southampton at home. Real Betis again. Brighton. So United in a decent run. They're in a decent run. Even though they lost today, you got Carabao. You got Europa League Thursday, which give you probably three days of okay. Let's reassess what happened in Liverpool. Don't dwell on it too much. Go back in the drawing board. Work what we need to work on. Let's go. Let's take on Real Betis. Get a result at that Old Trafford, and then Southampton will be coming to Old Trafford again. We'll get a result out there, and everything will be looking more rosy again. Because I said they've done well. I just unfortunately today they came up against a very good Liverpool team who played they play really well. Play really well. As we stand right now, Liverpool are 5th in the league with 42 points, and with game in hand, they've got a better goal difference on Tottenham, better goal difference on Man United. They are 7 points behind United. Wow. And Newcastle are on 41 points, played 24 games. They've got 2 games in hand. So you know what? It's if Liverpool can qualify for the Champions League, I think that's a good season. If they can qualify for Champions League, yeah, and forget about all the title, everything that's gone on this year, rebuild this next year, that's a very good season. On that note, Liverpool won, Man United lost. Not the end of the game, not the end of the world. And I'll see you next time. I hope you have a good weekend.